Hey guys, so the next lesson here with rational expressions is multiplying and dividing them. Right, so there's 10 examples throughout this whole lesson because there's not a whole lot of difficult material. All of them are fair game for the quiz. The harder ones here in the front, and then the easier ones on the back. I just kind of mixed it up this time. So make sure you're taking good notes on this whole thing. So multiplying fractions we've already talked about in section 1. You multiply straight across, so it'd be p times p over q times r over s equals p r over q s. You guys know that pretty well. Okay, so these two quick examples. Okay, you don't even have to combine them first if you're multiplying. Okay, you could just start canceling right away. So we know that 1x goes away, 1x goes away, 1y goes away, 1y goes away, 1b goes away, 1b goes away, and you're left with 2. Okay, this will go away, this will go away, and become a 2. Alright, so we just write whatever we have left. We've got a b squared, x on top, and a 2a on bottom. Okay, simple enough. Now the second one here, it's a little bit more difficult because you are going to want to, it's easier to actually factor these first. Okay, that's what I would suggest you do. So let's factor all three of these rational expressions. This one you could factor. All right, let's do that first, and then we'll be able to cancel whatever we have left. Okay, so the first one, you factor out an a squared. You're left with an a minus 6. The second one right here, okay, you can factor to be a, let's see, it'll be a minus 1 squared. Okay, and on bottom, this guy right here we can factor. I don't know why I did that. I was dumb, so I can't see it. Okay, great. So we can factor this bottom one to be an a plus 3. Bad 3. A minus 1. And the a cubed doesn't change. Okay, so now we can just cancel out anything that's common. So we could take 2 a's away on top, 2 a's away on bottom. So you're left with 1a. Take an a minus 1 out on the bottom, a minus 1 out on top. And we're left with a minus 6 times a minus 1 over a, we got 1a left right here, times a plus 3. Okay, and you're all finished. Now dividing fractions. Okay, we all know how to divide fractions. Right, the way you divide fractions is you've got to multiply, as soon as multiplying by the reciprocal, so p over q divided by r over s equals p over q times s over r. Right, flip the second one. Copy dot flop, or copy dot flip, I think. I don't remember how people say that, but it's multiplied by the reciprocal, same thing. So these are a little bit more difficult, but we're going to go right into them. Now, once again, you do want to go right ahead and factor any of the polynomials that you can. Okay, so we know that this top one, right, the first one's got to stay the same, the second one needs to flip upside down. And we'll be multiplying. So this top one is a difference of 2 squares. You can make it 1 plus x, 1 minus x. Okay. Now the other thing that's going to go on top of with this, right, is the reciprocal of this. So it's this one all factored out. Okay, so if we factor that, it's going to be a 3. Let's see. Oh, it's going to be. This is actually a difference of, or it's a perfect square. So it'll be 3x plus 4 squared. Okay, and on bottom we're going to have a 3x plus 4, right, from here. And we're going to have this one, which we can factor, to be x plus 2, x minus 1. Now, one way, if you might ask, well, how did I get this 3x plus 4 squared so quickly from this? Well, because I was looking for it. Because I saw that there was a 3x plus 4 here, I kind of figured that, I mean, one thing you think about for these is, well, a lot of times you try the ones that you already know are going to be there because you're probably going to be canceling something. Okay, so that's helpful. Now, we can cancel out 3x plus 4 and 1 3x plus 4. Can't do anything with the x plus 2, but what about the x minus 1 and the 1 minus x? Right? They're not the same, okay? They're definitely not the same. But if you take this and you factor out a negative 1 or factor a negative 1 out of this, right? You factor a negative 1 out of one of them, and then they suddenly do become the same thing. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take a negative 1 out on top here, change this to negative 1 plus x, which is the same as x minus 1. That way, I can cancel those out. Alright, so what you're going to have left here is negative, parentheses, 1 plus x times 3x plus 4 all over x plus 2. Okay, so that little negative trick is something you're going to keep in mind for when you get to problems like that. All right, if you have opposite, if the signs are just flipped, factor a negative 1 out. All right, B here is probably the hardest problem in the whole section, but let's go ahead and tackle it right away. Okay, so we're going to divide and then divide again. All right, we'll start by dividing the top. Okay, so we got a factor. Basically, actually, let's just do it this way. Let's rewrite it. All right, we're going to rewrite this as this is the same. If you're dividing by this, right, it's the same as multiplying by 1 over that, right? Because multiplying by the reciprocal. So we're going to take this whole fraction and multiply it by 1 over this, because what we've really got here is this divided by that. Okay, so I'm going to take this. I'm going to say this is multiplied by 1 over y squared minus 4p squared. Okay, and totally forget that that exists. Okay, now it becomes an easier multiplication problem. All right, we can factor anything that we can up on top. We're going to get a y and a y and a y. All right, we know we have the p's there, so we get to add, with multiplied to positive 6p squared, add to negative 5py. So what's probably going to be best here is a minus 2p minus 3p. That'll get us where we need to be. All right, multiplied by 1, so it just stays the same. On the bottom, we have a y plus 2p and a difference of 2 squares right here. Okay, so it'll be a y plus 2p, y minus 2p. All right, now to finish this one up, we could factor out whatever we can. All right, so you should see that the y minus 2p's go away, and then we can combine these y plus 2p's, and we're going to be left with y minus 3p over y plus 2p squared. That's the final answer. And the last problem here, we've got r to the fourth s over t times t to the third over r squared s. All right, so let's combine those first. And you can cancel out 1t, cancel out the s's, cancel out those. Alright, we're left with r squared t squared over 1. And we're going to divide that by rs over t, so it's the same as multiplying by t over rs. Alright, do some more canceling. 1r, 1r. We're left with t cubed over s. All finished. On to the easier examples. Alright, so we're going to begin by just simplifying. All right, obviously, we'll start with numbers, very, very easy numbers. All right, so we've got 21 over 10 times 10 over 9. 10's go away. We can multiply by a negative 4 over 7 while we're at it. All right, and do any canceling that we can. All right, so we know that we can cancel 7 becomes 1, 21 becomes 3. All right, 3 becomes 1, 9 becomes 3. And we're going to have negative 4/3. Okay, however you want to do it works fine for me. If you want to plug the whole thing in your calculator, hit math fraction enter, that works too. All right, this is just one way of doing it. You could obviously multiply it all out and then simplify too. Now, number 2 here. All right, this one, actually it looks a little bit difficult, but when you see this power to a power over here, that's where it looks a little complicated, but luckily we got a 0 power, which we know is 1, so this thing is basically a non-factor, because anything divided by 1 is going to be whatever it is. So we can do our multiplication. All right, the negatives are going to cancel each other out, both become positive. All right, we can make the 7 become 1, 14 become 2, 5 become 1, 25 become 5. Y cancels out with 1y. We're left with 2 y's on top, so we're left with 2y squared over 5. And that's it. Okay, these, like I said, these are the simpler, easier problems. All right, number 3 here. We have to do just these two first, and then we'll pull in the last one. All right, so it's going to be bq squared over c times c squared over q. All right, 1q cancels out. 1c cancels out, and we're left with BQC. Okay, BQC over 1. I like to write it like that when I've got another fraction to divide by. Alright, we need to bring that down, but we're dividing it, so we need to multiply by the reciprocal. So we've got a BC over Q. Q's cancel out. We're left with B squared, Q squared, or sorry, B squared, C squared, and that's the final answer. Number 4 here. Alright, this is where we actually get the polynomials involved instead of just monomials. And we have to start doing some factoring. So let's work with, let's do it the other way this time. You could do it this way as well. We could do the multiplication first and then divide. Let's not do that. That doesn't make any sense. Let's just do it straight across, just like we've been doing normal. Alright, so we have x squared minus 1 over x plus 2 times x minus 2 over x plus 1. Now, before you do anything, what I would suggest you do is factor everything. Okay, so let's rewrite this x squared minus 1, which you know is the difference of two squares, as x plus 1, x minus 1. Alright, the reason I say do that is because it's going to save you a whole lot of time. Alright, we know that these are all the same things. It's all combined. Alright, it saves you a bunch of time because rather than multiplying all this stuff out and then trying to factor and all that stuff, it's just wasting your time. Let's just keep it factored and cancel out the x plus 1s. Okay, now we can multiply the result by x squared minus 4 over x minus 1. And once again, rewrite x squared minus 4, which we know is the difference of two squares, as x plus 2, x minus 2. Alright, cancel out any more that we know we can. X minus 1 goes away, x minus 1 goes away, x plus 2 goes away, x plus 2 goes away. We're just left with 2x minus 2, so the answer is x minus 2 squared. Alright, and the final example here, number 5. Alright, we're going to take both of these to the negative 1 power, so basically I'm going to flip both of them and then multiply them together. So let's go ahead and do that while factoring at the same time. So we need to write the reciprocal of this first rational expression, so it's 2x minus 1 over, alright, when we factor the bottom here, we're going to get 2x plus 1. Should be a 1 there, x minus 1. Alright, and we're going to multiply that by x times x minus 1 when you factor out, right, and that bottom, because it's flipped back to the top. And we've got a different two squares on the top, so 2x plus 1, 2x minus 1. Alright, now, we know that multiplying fractions just means connecting them all together and canceling out whatever we can. So 2x minus 1, 2x minus 1, x minus 1, x minus 1, left with 2x plus 1s, 2x plus 1s on the bottom, and an x on top. So that is our final answer. Alright, see you in class.